am I the bad guy for wanting to be happy in this world? Am I the bad guy for being depressed? I'm not kidding. I'm asking this like really seriously, to be honest. Like, I always feel that in life, me wanting to have harmless fun or just, be happy or even just to be left alone or to have interests or whatever, I've always felt that that makes me the bad guy in life. I'm supposed to, I'm supposed to like get joy out of like 9 to 5s, and I'm supposed to just be happy with like wasting my life away on things that don't mean anything to me. I feel like when you're depressed, life is just kind of like at a harder level for you. If you've got any type of neurodivergence, particularly, it becomes even harder. I think I'm most certainly some sort of neurodivergent because I always do feel a little different, to be honest. And to be honest, whilst I can go out and have a really, really good time, and often I often do feel very different, and which is fine if people appreciate that. But when you meet normal people, I just find you get really depressed. They make me really depressed, and you often think like, am I the bad guy for just wanting to be happy? And obviously in my head, I'm just a guy trying to survive. But it's when you're depressed, you're sort of like expected to pretend you're happy, because if you admit you're sad, like people sort of think of you as flawed, and it's a character flaw. I was even speaking to the doctor about this. Like I said, well, it's okay to get cancer, that's fine, but if you have major depression or a sleep disorder, that's apparently not good. And he was like, well, no, you lose executive function. I was like, well, look, no, because if I was doing something I felt was meaningful, even if I still had depression and a sleep disorder, I wouldn't feel this sense of despair, Like going and sitting in an office chair, it's the worst thing. For me, personally, I don't even want to say like how much I hate it, but I hate it more than people might realize. Just that sterile, dull environment of an office. Like, the world's such an interesting place. Like, look at nature, there's all these things happening, and like, no, let's sit in the chair. Like, I don't know how people do it, to be honest. But I'm always like it's always implied like I'm the bad guy because I don't just want to be part of it and do all that stuff. But society, as I said in my last video, it's mostly a scam anyway, so. But it's just, you do wonder, like, am I the bad guy, Because I just want to live, like, for example, I really want to travel the world and do all sorts of stuff and, learn as many languages as I can and all sorts of stuff like that, which apparently is unusual because I speak Pidgin English, which is apparently, like, I've never met anyone that does that. I'm a very unusual person, but, I just want to spend my life doing things like researching animals and traveling and meeting people and just, like, living life. And whenever I say that, I'm always sort of met with this like, no, people got to like work hard and pay their bills and like have a family. That's another one. Want to have a family. Apparently, you really want to have that really, really badly. And I think, if you want to have that, or if you meet someone and you feel like that's what you do. But I mean, for me, freedom is really just what I want, to be honest. I want to just travel the world and live a life and learn stuff. But I'm always sort of met with this like, that's wrong. Like the classic one is that's unrealistic. No, I've known rich people and I'm telling you, it's very, very realistic. It just requires money. It doesn't require courage. It requires money, which is the thing that we all want, that apparently it's difficult to get. That's what I always say. If you had money and I wanted to do something, I wouldn't be the bad guy. I mean, maybe I'd still be considered, everyone thinks you're bad. So I realized this a long time ago. If you're a popular, nice person, if you're like in a social group and 9 people like you and just think you're the best person, there'll be a 10th person that just hates you purely because you're likable. I've seen this in real life so many times. You can get someone who's just a wonderful person and there'll be someone in the background that's like, screw them. They make me feel bad. I'm a person who's very, very talkative and very sort of funny in social contexts. Not at work. I'm horrible to work with, I think. But people get annoyed, like, I'm sort of like funny and it makes them look I don't know. People are very insecure, I found. And so when you deal with people, when you tell them your dreams, they want to shut you down. And it's very depressing. Because if you've been around extreme wealth, you'll notice that they don't shut your dreams down. I've never met a wealthy person that shut my dreams down or told me I was wrong for wanting to be happy. But it's always these lower middle class people, they judge you so badly. Like, you're the bad guy because you just want to live a life and you don't even want to, I don't even want to cause any harm to anyone. I just want to be free. I don't want to do anything. There's nothing inherently wrong with it, but I'm always made to feel that I'm wrong. Even with doctors, and it's always like, no, I'm the bad guy. I should just want to, we all have different brain chemistry. We all feel different. And so people are trying to transpose their mental health onto me. Like, well, I was once depressed, but then I got this amazing 9 to 5. No, 9 to 5s make me really, really depressed. More depressed than ever. And it's just impossible to be happy in a world where that's what you're expected to do. I just can't. It's not even like it's flexible. Like if it was sort of flexible and you sort of had a say and like you're autonomous and it was like it wasn't so difficult, then I'd probably be okay with it. But it's so, you have to jump through hoops just to be ordered around. And you're the bad guy for simply saying, look, to be honest with you, I really don't like this system and I'm not happy in it, and nothing anyone can do can change that. Like I've got a disorder because I don't like it. Like it's just, if someone went to World War I in a trench and didn't like that, would you call them disordered, shell-shocked, whatever? Like people just don't like certain things. Some people love it. I've read stories and seen videos that apparently some people love going to war and they really, really love it apparently. I've seen a lot of things about people who've actually gone to war. And people that I've met in the military, they've never like outright said this, but you sort of get this feel that like they had a really good time. Like they don't say it to you directly like, oh, but the way they talk about it, because I'm always like, I don't want to like push anything with them, but like they'll talk about it like it was a really good time and like, oh yeah, we did this and we did this and I jumped out of a plane and I'm like, people like different things. Like I'm sure that person who I know who's like with the paratrooper who jumps out of planes and stuff, I'm sure he probably doesn't like being in an office, but then who knows, who knows? But we're all different. And like, if your goals align with society is like a sort of hive mind of people. And if your goals align with society, then you're the good guy. What's crazy to me, like your government can send you overseas to do very bad things to other people. Don't want to get censored. But a lot of Western countries send people overseas to do things, And that's all well and good because, the government told you to do it. But if you're just a person like who wants to be like a musician or you just want to do art and like this is what you like, you're the bad guy. And unless you can produce really good art that sells, but even then like that's subjective, People just buy art to money launder, I'm pretty sure. But a lot of rich people do that from what I've heard, but who knows. But what I'm saying is you're the bad guy. Just it's very hard to like be told when you've done nothing that you think is wrong. That's the hard part. I'm not a criminal, right? But I'm just guessing what criminals feel like. I'm assuming, based on what I've researched into this, I think a lot of them sort of admit that they've done, like they know. I'm talking like the sort of the lower end. I'm not talking like the mob bosses or whatever. I'm pretty sure that the lower end ones, they know, oh yeah, I got caught, I was shoplifting, I shouldn't. They know like it's inherently like not a great thing to do. Inherently, if that makes sense. Where like morality is so subjective anyway, to be honest, but the way I feel with the world, to be honest, is it's just so fundamentally unethical. The whole world is just so disgustingly unethical. Like animals just die, like to eat them. Like it's the whole world is messed up. The fact that like some people are just, I'm gonna say it, I honestly think this. Some people are very attractive and some people are conventionally quite ugly. And I don't mean that because like for me, I don't really care at all about, it doesn't really faze me as a person, but a lot of people I've known are treated very differently based on the way they look, for example. And that's depressing, And like just the fact that, I'm going really off topic here, but the fact that like if you're, not conventionally attractive, you sort of just expect, you're not allowed to have dreams. If you're an unattractive person and you like someone who's attractive conventionally, because it is very subjective. I know for me particularly, I find it very subjective because I can find depending on who they are, I don't have a set, like someone's either attractive or they're not, But for a lot of people, there is like a clear sort of, this is this and this and this. For me, it's sort of like, I know if I know, But anyway, if someone's really not attractive and they like someone for whatever reason, an attractive person, people sort of go, oh, out of your league or whatever the crap bullshit. What they really mean is if you're a man, out of your price, because money really dictates dating, I have found. But if you're a woman or something, if you like someone who's out of your so-called league, which I don't even believe in, but I get the concept anyway, you are sort of made fun of. Look, I've even seen people in relationships, they go like, oh, he's punching up, like it's so funny, like let's make fun of someone's looks, like that's so hilarious, look at that ugly man with that woman, oh, he's probably rich, and like it's socially acceptable to just pick on people, to be honest, completely fine, like no one cares, completely fine, no problems whatsoever. But if you're conventionally attractive, you're just allowed to like people. Like, it's just, the world is so stupid. This world is so dumb. People don't even see it. That's why I'm making this channel. This world is so stupid and people can't see it. You're just born. Like, you don't choose what you look like. Like, I am lucky, but also unlucky. You know, it's weird because, you know what? I'm going to sidetrack here, right? I'm going to sidetrack on something. I often think about different time periods, right? There's a lot of people in the modern world, they've gone to like prison or whatever, and they get out of prison. I think it's this a lot in America, and they make these like podcasts. And they go, oh yeah, in prison I had a shank or whatever. And because of the modern world, they make money out of these podcasts. I thought 100 years ago, you'd be a nobody. It's just, the world is so subjective. Like, because of social media, certain people, I've known people who actually do this. They make a lot of money on social media from like, you know, selling stuff. And it's like, you're just like, it's, some of it is actually talent. One of these really famous YouTuber I went to university with, he has 5 million subscribers. He's doing it with like, I think it's a partner, like he has another person with him, but he definitely is the face of it. And he worked very, very hard to get that channel. Like, I know from seeing what he did, he was, out of anyone who worked hard for it, he did. But what I'm trying to say is, there's all these things out of life that you just don't choose. Like, you're born, completely born. Like, you don't choose, like, I have a severe sleep disorder, so I just can't sleep properly. My brain does not let me sleep. And so that affects my life very badly. If I had lots of money, it would still annoy me, but it wouldn't be of an issue. But it's an issue with working and stuff. I just thought, like, I didn't choose to have that disorder. Then there's people who are like, you know, they're not particularly attractive, but then they're really smart. Like, there's all these things that you just don't choose. And there's some people who just have everything, you know. Like, you know, that wrestler, Alexander Karelin, you know, he just, you know, incredibly strong, incredibly smart. He's just, some people just have everything, and then other people don't. And it's so depressing. And then the people that are lonely, that don't have anyone, they're just expected to suck it up. I've spent a lot of time thinking about this. When you're undesired for whatever reason, you're just expected to, like, oh, well, silently suffer, I guess. That's what society wants. Like, society very much wants to dictate for you what to do, but then you're not allowed to sort of have any opinions back. And I just find it a very one-way relationship with society. A lot of people do feel undesired, to be honest. I think a lot of that's the environment they're in, to be honest, because you don't choose your environment. You know, when you have a job, you're forced to be there, so you can't just move overseas easily, to be honest. In the old days, I think it was easier, but now it's very hard to move. Pardon me. So you're sort of stuck in these jobs. You know, you can't, even just your aptitude. Like, I'm a person who doesn't like academic work. I've never really liked the academic style of learning, but that means that I'm bad at university. So, you know, rich people I knew, actually not very good at university either. So, funny that. But, and also a lot of dictators apparently aren't very good. I've read history a lot, so apparently a lot of them didn't do well at university, or school. But what I'm trying to say is, you don't choose most of your attributes. You know, your height, your strength. I mean, you can work on things, but it's not, you don't choose most of these things. You're sort of just put here, and then you just sort of expected to figure it out. Now, some people are lucky. They have families that really help them, and I've seen this firsthand. Like, their families help them, set them up in business. And for me, I didn't really have, like, proper guide. Like, I didn't really know. Like, I was just sort of, like, told. Like, no one really, some people are very lucky. They have, like, families that really teach them stuff, like really useful life skills. I had to teach myself everything, to be honest. And I find this really depressing, because when I was around these really rich people, I'd see them, and I think, like, if I was around I would have done that too, because I'm very good at, like, intellectually, I quite like business, but I've never had the guidance to, like, you know, do it as well. I've tried to do it, but it's very hard to become successful. And just, like, so much of life is just completely arbitrary, you know. Like, you might be born, like, even just living where you live, like, you might live in a really big city and there's lots of, like, opportunities there. You might live in a really small town and it's hard to move, and everything's so subjective. And then, like, the way you speak, it's influenced by how you grow up, and it just, people treat you a certain way based on your race and all the, I don't know, the way you look. And, like, I've known people from all over the world, so I've had this discussion with them. Like, the way you look, what country you look like you come from, very much affects the way people interact with you, to be honest. People, it is a hierarchy in this world. I mean, you know, that's why I don't really like this world, because it's a hierarchy. Now, if you're at the top of the hierarchy, I'm sure it's amazing, to be honest. If you're that guy at the top, then I'm sure it's great. I mean, you wonder, of course they're happy, they're at the top. But if you're, like, not at the top, it's horrible. It's how capitalism works too. It's like, if you got all the money, it's fantastic. If you don't, then it's crap. If you've got all the things you want, and also that's the other thing, everyone's desires are different. So not everyone has the same desires. Like, some people, they want the comfort of, like, a certain type of like, I don't know, they want the comfort of a relationship more. Other people don't want a relationship. Like, everyone has different desires. But like, if you don't fit into that little box that society assigns you, you're just the bad guy. And I say, like, am I the bad guy? Even just as a man, like, even just, being like, oh, how do I say? Just being attracted to women. Just like, oh, I find them attractive. That's sort of in society wrong, apparently, too. And even if women, the same goes to women, like, if they find men attractive, it's also bad. Like, I understand, like, 'cause I've had female friends talk about this topic with me, and they're like, oh, we get judged too. I'm like, oh, no, I believe you. I know you get judged. Women judge other women terribly. I think even men judge them pretty badly. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is, like, you just judge. Like, if you're a man that's attracted to women, that's bad. Like, you're supposed to only be attracted to one person. There's all these things in the world. Like, you might love the person you're with in a relationship, but you might also find other people attractive. But you have to, like, pretend to yourself that I don't find anyone else attractive. It's just this one person. Like, maybe that's true, to be honest. I can see why for some people that might be the case. But the point is, in society, there's always things that you're not allowed to admit. Like, oh, you know what? Maybe I don't want to get married, or maybe, like, marriage is fine, but only for, like. See, a lot of marriages break down, and you think, like, I don't know, like, I'm just a person, so, like, everyone's different, but I just think, like, are these married couples genuinely happy? Are they genuinely happy being together? I mean, some probably are, and that's actually really cool. Honestly, I wish them the best. But a lot of couples get divorced and they're miserable. I saw some study, it was like 90% of married couples after 50 years, that was the ones that, I forget the exact numbers, so don't quote me. I'm human, I'm not an AI, so don't, like, But it was like 50%, I think it was like over, if someone had been married for 50 years, so this negates all the people that are divorced, they're still married. I think it was only 10% of people said they were still in love, or something like this. I don't know I can't remember where I saw this study, so it could be wrong. I'm just telling you stuff. I thought to myself, like, you know what, that might be true, to be honest. Like, maybe people just grow out of love for each other, but you're not allowed to admit that. Like, in this world, we have to pretend. Like, well, that's the other thing. Sometimes, I don't have children, but I assume that people that do have children, I've often wondered this, and feel free if anyone's even watching me talk, that do you have favourite children? I've actually thought about this a lot. I think parents secretly do. Some, well, they claim they don't, but I'm actually convinced that, like, they do, to be honest. Some of them do anyway. But you're not allowed to admit that to society. In my anthropology class, we actually talked about this. Like, people have all these things they think, but they're just not allowed to say it in society, because everyone sort of, the society regime sort of comes in and forces you and tells you you're wrong, I just thought, like, all these things in life, like, do people really love their jobs? That guy I talked about in another video, he seemed to be so enthusiastic about his job, but apparently he actually doesn't like it. So you wonder how many people are just faking it. If you met me at a party, you would not know that I have major depression. You would just not know. I speak too quickly. Even doctors don't even believe me. They're like, but you're so, like, animated. Yeah, Robin Williams was animated too. Like, you don't just... I actually sometimes believe depressed people, we seek out the beauty in life a lot more than most people. Like, if you are genuinely depressed, you sort of almost want to see beauty. Like, I looked at the lunar eclipse and it was absolutely beautiful. Very beautiful sort of spiritual experience to see the bright, it was like a reddy orange color. I've never seen anything like it. And I just appreciated the beauty. The world is such a cruel place, but that moon is beautiful. And I think depressed people were kind of like that. We look for the beauty in the world. Like, I look at like a dragonfly or a bee and I go, oh, look, it's beautiful. Like, I look at those animals, or the dog or the cat, and you look at, we sort of appreciate the world. Like, it's got a little bit, like, we don't like the world, but we appreciate the good things in the world because there's so many bad things that we have felt in our life, So we're more likely to, I don't know, smell a flower or something. I really like flowers, but apparently men aren't allowed to like flowers. So, I don't like flowers, but I really do like them. And sometimes I smell them and stuff in gardens and whatever. And, I just thought, like, depressed people, we really do kind of have a lot of things where we are grateful for things. I mean, I'm only speaking for myself, so I don't know what other people are like. I think depression does manifest differently amongst different people. For me personally, a lot of I have depression, but I am the type of person who just, if I'm free, I can be sort of happy. It's when I'm not free that I get really, really miserable and distressed. And that's the other thing. Like, you're sort of allowed to be happy. Sorry. You're allowed to be a bit sad, but you're not allowed to be angry. Oh, if you're angry, you're bad. How dare you be angry at the inequality of this world? No. I've been told that so many times. Like, I'll say to someone, depending on the context, I don't normally talk like this, but say someone says, oh, the world's so great. And I just say, everything happens for a reason. Okay. Those little children in Africa that starve, That's happening for a reason. Oh, don't be negative. Don't be negative. That's very negative of you. What you're essentially saying is, I'm right and you don't know what to say. Oh no, it's just because you've got to be positive, and toxic positivity. I saw this really funny meme on Facebook. It was like, I don't even really use Facebook, but I saw this meme and it was like, we're in hell, like it was like the devil in hell. And these people are walking around going, yes, hell is great, and toxic positivity. And then the person coming into hell in the meme was like, whoa, hell is worse than I've ever imagined. And I thought, yeah, that sounds about right. It's like this world. Humanity's not going around saying, oh, let's try and make the world a happy place. No, the society, we are pretending as a society that we like life is this good thing. Like, oh, everyone's just happy, and like it's in the cultural zeitgeist, the locus. I don't know how to say it. Like the hive mind of society. It's like like when you say, oh, how are you? So say, oh yeah, I'm good because life's good and society's good and working is good and paying taxes and wasting money. It's all good. Like we're just going to invent a reason why it's all here. Like you're expected to sort of just like believe the world is good. And if you question that, it's like a religion almost. You can't question it. Oh, what do you mean the world's not a good place? The world's not amazing. And then here's the thing I found with them. If you say to them, you bring up like, starving African children or something as an example. And they'll say, well, in Australia it's good though. And it's like, well, no, because homeless people exist. Oh, well, it's their fault. It's like, well, no, because maybe they've got something in their head and oh no, it's because they chose it. Might make a video on free will, because that's a very fun one. I am very convinced that humans have only a small amount of free will. A little bit, not a huge amount. I'm copying Noam Chomsky here. I can move my finger. Yes, I can do little things in my life. I can stop eating junk food. But then again, even then, this is going to be a whole long. I'm going to go on forever if I don't stop. I'm just testing out YouTube, so who knows what will happen. But that's me rambling again for another, God knows how long. But if you watched it, that's really cool. I doubt anyone's watching this because I'm just going on about life. But if you did, please let me know. And catch you on the next one.